But by the time I came to know Kyagulanyi, and I found he was a distinguished young man with a family, with a wife and a family. If this man was a musician, me, I'm a talker, I'm a lawyer, and I talk. Now will you call me rubbish because I talk? But you know what I saw? When I reached there and I saw the mansion with a very big mountain, mansion on a hill. To reach there, we went through 3 gates. I was amazed. I said, this is what they call it. What were they called? The Gota Gato.
Gota Gato? What do you mean, Miria Matembe? Gota Gato?
I said, is this the ghetto boy? If ghetto boys are like this, then I think my son, I would love my son to be a ghetto boy. And I usually compare him with Museveni, who, when he went to the bush, he was a young man. And by the way, when he came in to contest for presidency, he did not have even a single house.
And yes, indeed, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching me and at whatever time you might watch this conversation. My name is Mordecai Morisa once again. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to be looking at some comments from the one and only, the unbogable, the undisputed Miria Matembe doctor. And we're going to go on and listen to some comments from Dr. Sarah Birete. Two of formidable forces in regards to shaking the Museveni criminal regime. They don't mince words when they decide to speak. They are the true manifestation of courage. Let's go on. Here they were talking about how people continue demeaning Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, or famously known as Bobi Wine, the president of the National Unity Platform. Now, I think Bobi Wine is usually looked at by Museveni's apologists in 2 or more strands. One, they compare him to Museveni through the lenses of looking at Museveni as indispensable. You can't get rid of Museveni. Museveni is so good. You know, if Museveni left and the country would be dead and stuff like that. It is really kindergarten reasoning, but hey, these are Museveni apologists. See, if someone is going to have to defend the enforced disappearances, the abductions of people, the torturing them and killing them, what do you expect them to do when it comes to defending the presidency and the continuity of the Museveni's criminal regime? So they present Museveni as this indispensable. And when they look at Bobi Wine, they usually present Bobi Wine as weak, lacking of, in ideology and stuff like that. And I usually argue, asking them of what importance is Museveni's ideology if it's going to bring our country to a point of a complete obliteration, completely falling. So, Miria Matembe was here asking, I don't even understand these people who demean Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. Listen here, and I'll give my commentary.
But what I know, for me, people demean Kyagulanyi, they call him Sira and whatever. But for me, I didn't know him. But by the time I came to know Kyagulanyi, and I found he was a distinguished young man with a family, with a wife and a family. If this man was a musician, me, I'm a talker, I'm a lawyer, and I talk. Now will you call me rubbish because I talk? A musician is God gifted us differently. Don't you know King David, who used to sing, who used to dance?
Yeah, and I want to pause here and make comments about what she just said. People who look at art as a tool for mockery, it is all born out of ignorance. They do not respect art. Even when you hear them quote the likes of Marcus Garvey, they will really become silent when you tell them or tell them that, hey, Marcus Garvey reminds us that, a civilization is not complete without its art, the highest form of expression of human intelligence. They do not. Museveni himself has no sport whatsoever. So, as a result of that, the fact that he doesn't have any sport, he's not an athlete, he doesn't have any mind that goes beyond keeping power with an iron fist. He's going to look at other people's talents as a wastage of time. It is jealousy and envy wrapped in, I got a lot of things to do.
The biggest, the most loved by God, to the extent that even Jesus Christ came from that line. So for me, I have never known why Kyagulanyi is demeaned as useless, as hopeless, as anything, as one who doesn't love Uganda. And I usually compare him with Museveni, who, when he went to the bush, he was a young man. And by the way, when he came in to contest for presidency, he did not have even a single house. I don't think he even had anything of his as a house. But as Kyagulanyi, before he contested as a president, I had the opportunity to visit his home, to visit his wife, Pite, with the women's movement. I mobilized the women's movement when they were putting him in prison, beating him after they had killed his driver that time.
Yes.
I felt sorry for the wife. I said, you women, don't you think, does this man have a wife? They said yes. So we mobilized resources, we bought food, we went to sympathize with this woman. We found a very young girl there. As soon as I reached there, she fell on me and wept on my shoulder. But you know what I saw? When I reached there and I saw the mansion, here's where I stay. I've been a minister for ethics, member of parliament, constitutional commissioner, Pan-African Parliament. What haven't I been? Do you see me with a mansion here? And I've told you that even this house was given to us because of my husband's integrity and hard work by Uganda breweries. But that man whom they demean, with a very big mountain, mansion on a hill. To reach there, we went through 3 gates. I was amazed. I said, this is what they call it. What were they called? The Gota Gato.
Gota Gato? What do you mean, Miria Matembe? Gota Gato?
I said, is this the ghetto boy? If ghetto boys are like this, then I think I would love my son to be a ghetto boy.
Gota Gato. You'd like your son to be a ghetto boy. Now, I'm going to explain a few. There's a lot to unpack there. She says when she went to visit Bobi Wine shortly after the ugly incidents that led to the killing of his driver, he was blown away, mind blown by what he saw, the state-of-the-art mansion that Bobi Wine has now. I'm not someone who really cares much about materialism, possession of wealth and properties. I don't really care. But if other people do, that's their prerogative, and I respect that. But she's sort of trying to reduce herself to the level of the mindset of how we accord respect according to social hierarchy. Oh, if this person has this huge house, they deserve our respect. Or if this person has children and a wife, oh, they deserve our respect. So what she's trying to say is that I went and saw that Bobi Wine actually has these things and more. Compared to my career, she's saying, hey, I had been this, look at my CV, and I didn't have all this Bobi Wine has. And she makes a very important point that I don't want you to miss out here. She says that when Museveni came to power, he didn't have not even a house. But the same people who demean Bobi Wine, I don't understand. It is pure classicism. I'm telling you, they're classist and elitism, usually speaking. And what is elitism and, classist? It is you can only be as good as me if you went to the same schools I went to, if you speak the same English I speak, if you are, you do this kind of a job that I am doing. That's how they think. That's their mindset. It is not about potential. It is not about meritocracy. No. It is, you should belong to my tribe. And I don't mean ethnicity. I mean psychological tribes. Oh, you have to belong to my tribe. My tribe, we are students of Namagunga. You can only be smart if you went to KIU or Makerere or Nkumba. It is pure stupidity, okay? But that usually people front. Oh, I went to this school. You're nothing. It doesn't really mean a thing at all. Zero. At the end of it all, you suffer. You fall sick. You die. You deserve. You crave for love and respect and attention. There's nothing that makes you special at all. Zero. Zero. Like zero. There's no difference between you and any other person you might think in your mind. We are all the same. The only difference is through social contract, we cannot all be presidents. So as reasonable human beings, we suggest that, in order to create some semblance or some sort of rule, an order that is going to guide us as civilized human beings, let's have something called the Constitution, and let's have this person to oversee that. And we shall call this person president. That person doesn't become special because they are president of Uganda. No. But using the standards they usually want to use, Bobi Wine has all it takes that Museveni didn't even have. Mind you, Museveni was referred to as a bandit by Apollo Milton Obote. And you may argue that Museveni was a bandit then because he didn't believe in democratic ideas. When he lost an election, he launched a war. So he was a bandit. Then we have a man, a lawyer, a diploma in music, dance, and drama, a president of a political party, an accomplished, wealthy man who says, he cannot. He doesn't have what it takes. Shut up, dunderhead. Cheers.
Because if you can be having a mansion like that, which I don't have, me, I don't know why people demean this man. I don't know. People, especially, they don't know how to read the Bible. Do you know, if you know the Bible, you know why I quote the Bible? It is the one which gives me strength and courage and wisdom. Do you know this boy called David, who was ignored by his father, by his brothers, and they thought he was nothing? And he went down onto the battlefield where the children of Israel were being disturbed by the Philistines, where this huge man called Goliath, like this huge president of ours, mighty man of power, he was there for 40 days. He's been demeaning, reducing the Israelites, calling them nothing. And this young boy went there to take food to his brother. And he said, what? This man here, who doesn't know God, how can he demean my own God? And that thing also, by the way, has a lesson which God revealed to me. And if
which God revealed to her. Okay, you get where she's coming from. Giving you for those of you who read the Bible, you get where she's coming from. Now, in the same argument, they usually go like, "Now you know." These people usually say, "Now, if they're not able to convince you that Bobi Wine is incapable, if you really hold them to their words and be like, okay, explain. How do you measure the potentiality of a person?" And they fail. They start saying, okay, now the opposition is supported by Museveni. Museveni is the one backing the opposition. This is what Sarah Binet had to say.
Some people have a narrative that opposition is his own making.
It is wrong. It is false. It is false. Let me look at this notion that NUP was created by NRM. In the yesteryears, during the campaign of 2020, everybody was saying the NUP is sponsored by homosexuals. True or false?
True.
Before NUP came to be, Bobi Wine survived assassination in Arua. Make that make sense. I mean, you really have to suspend reason and logic to get into the psychology of them 74 apologists, because Bobi Wine survived an attempted assassination after being created by Museveni. Because if Bobi Wine is killed, then you have people who are going to rise up across the country, and that would create a bloodshed. But I don't even know how to reason this out. Really, I'm failing.
True or false?
That could be true.
As he was running for presidency, people were murdered all over the place.
But he was created by Museveni.
He was shot at I don't know how many times. So if he was their own creation, why did all these things happen?
Good question. This guy who came up with this idea has nothing to say.
Why? Two, if Museveni needed opposition against him, there are people in that campaign that had worked with him.
Yep.
Why didn't he use them? And if he is the one who created Nup, why is he fighting them, imprisoning children, and doing all sorts of funny things to keep power?
That's really sad. Imprisoning children.
His acceptance speech was a very angry speech against Buganda, against Catholics. People take advantage because Ugandans seem to have a short memory. If this is your own creation, how do you get to that extent? How? The NRM regime degenerated into abductions
Beautiful.
of young children
Keep going.
born yesterday for
Preach.
supporting Bobi Wine.
Preach.
So what was the panic about?
Preach.
As they announced the results, Bobi Wine was under house arrest. I have it on good sources.
And this was 5 years ago. We have the same thing now happening. Bobi Wine going into hiding.
That President Museveni called the people, including Commonwealth Secretariat, to help him stabilize the country against Bobi Wine when he was under house arrest. So what was that about if it was his own creation?
Okay, so is NUP serious about taking power, really?
What the heck? Is NUP serious? Okay, I'm going to explain why he's asking this question. Again, it falls into the idea of indispensability of Museveni. Oh, look at him as Museveni is this irreplaceable. Someone to replace Museveni is supposed to fall from Jupiter or Mars or Neptune. Is NUP serious? What do you mean, dude? What do you mean? He's running for president. But because Museveni has infiltrated their mind to thinking of being president of a country requires rocket science potential. No, dude. No.
The job of any political party or any political actor is to take power. It is not a charity organization.
Thank you.
Some people see it as that. They are saying that.
No, that's their ignorance. Let's not.
Oh boy, I love this. That's the ignorance. There's no better way of explaining these people. Ignorance to the core. They believe that, you have to be a special type of a human being. That's why usually sometimes when they see me discussing these things and the next day I am dancing, they be like, Mordecai, I thought you're serious. You two now are dancing. Of course, I'm a human being. What do you mean? Because you have a Museveni who wants to behave like a robot. He doesn't smile. He doesn't laugh. Be tough. I'm not going to do that. Gosh.
To ride on ignorance.
Thank you.
Okay. Because why they say that is that Mr. Museveni in this tenure, it seemed as if it's the easiest tenure that he has
What
had.
the heck? What's wrong with this guy? Okay, I understand he's playing devil's advocate, but hey.
Tenure that drove him to degenerate into a terrorist organization.
Beautiful.
A tenure that drove him.
Every election cycle that we expect violence in this.
No,
Yes, I understand. I don't have any problem with that man. I think he's a good interviewer. I don't understand. It is so sad that we've made that a reality. That in every election we expect violence. The terms that are used that really do not paint the image clearly. When we say violence, we mean killing people. When you hear airstrikes, this country carried out airstrikes, they mean they bombed and killed people. So violence, they mean killing young kids, babies in Uganda. Jeez.
Extent was much. I have observed 3 cycles of elections. The extent of violence was much. The lunacy that even drove them to arrest election observers. Have you ever seen it? So if it was their own creation, why were they out of control?
Okay, what is your message to the people who are getting ready for power?
He had to run away from that question he asked. Brilliant. I think it's an amazing interviewer. I think what's his name? Karhanga, I think I read here. Yeah, must be. He's a very good interviewer. Anyways, you understand here. Do not listen to folks who are going to come to demean Bobi Wine. And it's sometimes it's usually made by people I look at and I'm like, okay, if we really went, reduced ourselves to your level of mockery and demeaning people, you'd really have to hide your face because you wouldn't survive. If people really did that, so when they do that, just know for what it is. They do not know how to explain the power they do not understand. They want to appoint themselves as these special brains that supersede the vast majority of Ugandans. I mean, the Ugandan people say, this is the man we want us to lead. We want to lead us. And you're like, no, I'm the one. I should tell you who should lead you. I mean, is that egoism, narcissistic tendencies, or what? You know what people deserve more than themselves? All right, ladies and gentlemen, please go on and subscribe to this feed. Like this video. Yeah, let me see how many people. 600 people. Oh, okay, 500 people liking this video. That means if you've watched this one, you've watched it for more than 20 minutes. Smash that like button. Share it with people out there and invite others to join us. My name is Mordecai Murisa. I'll be back very soon. I'm into my new apartment and I'm loving it. So thank you so much for sticking around. Until we catch up again, listen out how I'm now playing with the language. We gotta. See you. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy what you just watched?
I'm sure they did.
I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa Live YouTube channel? Thank you.